Can you believe it's time for the August bullet journal already? Come on in, welcome to my home. I can't believe it. I cannot believe that it is time for the August bullet journal already. It went so fast. Now this is only the 22nd of July, but even still, it's time for me to do my August bullet journal. First thing we want to do is flip through the July bullet journal. Once again, I have my July monthly page. Still didn't do much decorating on it. However, I did refer to it quite a few times. I am still absolutely loving the one-page spreads, as in like truly loving them. They work out so well. I can get everything I need there on there, and it is great. And that was our first week of July. Second week works just the same, and it even gives me room to cross out things that I need to. If I need to move them, do whatever, strike through them, I can cross them out and get it done with. Second week worked just as well. We are on the third week, or fourth week. This is where we are right now. And I just love these one-page spreads, so that I'm going to stick with. I love having my calendar on there. Not having the dates ruled is also something which worked out really well, highlighting it so good. Now, mood trackers and all my trackers. This still leaves a lot to be desired simply because it's a lot of wasted space. I mean, a lot of wasted space, and I still haven't figured out how to take care of that yet, but I will figure it out. Now, if you have any suggestions on how to take care of my cleaning tracker and take care of that wasted space, let me know down in the comments. I'm still loving my trackers. All these other trackers are really cool, but I'm going to try something different this month. That will be fun. Sleep tracker is still great, and the water tracker. Mood tracker, you can see that was a lot of fun, putting in the fireworks for the different moods, and as you can see, most of the time it was a pretty good month. So let's hope that this coming up month will be just the same. I did something which I didn't think I would do. I started a video tracker. That did not work. Not a fan of the video tracker. The brain dump, that worked. That worked a lot, and so that's where I am going to keep the brain dump. And once again, tried to do checklist and those sort of things. Didn't exactly work. Didn't exactly work at all. But so that was my month in review. This month, we're in August, and I've decided I'm going to do a book library theme, and that should be a lot of fun. So, let's get started. Let's jump into the speed portion of our video. Right now, I'm just going to do what is now a splash page. I know it's unusual for me to be doing a splash page, but I found a quote that I liked. And it's a really nice quote for this month's theme. And I realized that I could have done a much better job lettering it, but like I said, like I will say many times, it is hard for me to write at the angle that I'm writing at. I didn't realize how strange that is. But we're going to stick with this theme, and the theme that we have will be revealed very shortly. I tried to do some things where I don't use a ruler. I found that I have to use a ruler. I still can't do straight lines that well, but it ends up looking pretty good. And I know that this month I'm going to do the fun stuff of adding color as the month goes on. But this was a lot of fun to do. So we are getting our themes set up with a whole bunch of books. I know you might not be able to tell it right now, but those will eventually become books. I knew that I wanted to do sort of a back-to-school library theme, and since I don't go back to school and I don't really have anybody in my family, immediate family right now, that's going back to school, I thought the library theme would be good. And then I added a few nice little things for my book titles, which just made it more inspirational. Then I added my wonderful calendar, which I will probably not use. For whatever reason, I never seem to use this calendar, but it always needs to be there just in case. I have referred to it several times, so before you say that, oh, well, why do you put it in there? I have referred to the calendar many times, and the shape of this calendar is going to become important later on. You will see what I mean as I try to figure out how I can save time, energy, and a lot of different things. Now, unlike last month, I did change up the whole don't write in cursive. I've learned my lesson now. I will not write in cursive. I did add a task area, so that way I can have monthly tasks, because I've seen a lot of bullet journals that have monthly tasks on them. So I did add that, and we'll see if I use that this time. Now I'm going to go back in and then, finish up my drawing. Now we're on to the weekly spreads. Still love the weekly spreads done as the 1 page per week. And that still works really, really well. Like I said in the beginning, it works really, really well for me. I did have a hard time with this book because it still does not lay as flat as I would like it to. And that's okay. You do your own version of a bullet journal. It needs to work for you, and whatever works for you is what's important. This one will have everything which I possibly need to it, and the shape of the calendar is there again. Putting in my days, making sure that the days are spelled correctly, which hopefully I did do that. But it looks, what I consider, it looks pretty good. I'm enjoying this simply because it's more about function than it is about form. And I put in a spot so that I can have notes. I think I might actually use this because now that I'm doing so many different videos on 3 different channels, I do believe, I might have a spot where I'm going to need to add those notes. Now I put in those little tick marks on the side because, of course, my bullet journal does not lay flat. And it's not really all that important for it to lay flat, simply because very rarely do I actually write that far down on the page. But we go through, we make sure that everything is in there. I add the date and then put in the days of the week. I make sure that, for whatever reason, I had a hard time at one point making sure that the days of the week were correct. And we filled those all in, and it looks pretty good. I do go back and add in the month calendar because, wow, is that handy. I didn't think that that would ever become handy, but it is more handy than I thought it would. And yes, I do begin this on the 5th because July's calendar does end on the 4th of August. And I have no problem with that. Green is my highlight color for the month, which I do enjoy. Now we are going to go on to the next one, which is the same sort of setup. It just puts my weekly, I have the week as a 2-week spread, or these 2 pages are a 2-week spread. It is just so much nicer to have 2 weeks all at once, and plus, as some things get done or some things need to be transferred or migrated, I can do that. I can do that so easy. It's just unbelievable. I get all of those things in really easy and really quickly, and I can see it all at once. That is another thing that I really like. I really like the way that it lays out, and I really like the way that it just works for me. It gives me just enough space to not have too much space because, like I said from the beginning, I still don't have too much space. Now, if it gets to the point where there is too much space, I will change this up, and probably next month, simply because I am sort of getting tired of the spread set up exactly like this. I might do something different. If you'd like me to do something different, let me know down in the comments. I will check that out and see what I can do for you and do for me, which actually works for me. But I will do something fun. I know it's hard to tell, but yes, everything is drawn out there. I am not doing this just, as we go. There is a mistake on this page, and I left it in because I didn't mind it. Everything just works out really, really well. The other thing which is interesting about this is I realized that it's my bullet journal, so I really want this to work for me. And I will eventually do other styles for other people. Now, here's a funny thing: my pen dies. My pen runs out of ink, so I have to go and find another pen which actually works. But we did that really quickly because I'm going to need that thinner pen pretty darn soon. Going back and highlighting all the days of the week, highlighting the week. Then we get ready for our next big challenge, and this one is super different. I did this completely different because I just wanted a change up. My habit tracker is going to be the individual months. Never used this before. I'm not even sure how well this is going to work for me, but I wanted to try it because it is different. It is something new and exciting, and it was pretty quick to do. I also do this freehand. Yeah, I know you're surprised that I'm doing this freehand because I've already stated before that I don't really like to do things freehand. But since I didn't mind this, since it's going to end up getting X'd out and crosses on that sort of stuff, because as I do things during the week, hey, I can change it all, and it just gives me the wonderful part of not having to go through and do all that. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering why I'm not writing in the dates. That's simply because I can tell just by looking at it what day it is, and I don't really need the day in there to look at that and say, hey, it's a Thursday. I can look at the shape of it and know, because each item either happens daily or happens the same day of the week. Now we're going to go through and do something which really was hard. I'm letting you know right now that for whatever reason, I had the hardest time trying to get this done. I don't know why it was so hard for me to do this. But getting a perspective on the bookcase, I did know that I was going to keep it more cartoonish, but it didn't exactly work out the way I wanted to. And I am so glad that I drew those books in beforehand, because if I hadn't, it would have just been just a nightmare. But we're going to get all of those drawn in really quickly here. It's fun to watch this in fast forward because what looks like it didn't take that long, it took a long time. I did number each one of those, and I was thinking about the fact that I can also write in fake titles for the books to also explain how I felt in the day, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to color in the book covers for that day depending upon my mood. But I left the book spines blank so that way I can write in titles, and it'll give me more of an idea how I felt about that day if I write really small. I like this whole concept of this simply because it's different. It's something that I haven't, and I went looking for something with using books, and I didn't see too much of using books, so I thought, well, hey, I can do this. It's not exactly perfect. I don't mind that it's not exactly perfect because it's me. I'm not exactly perfect. We're going through, and I know a lot of you are like, well, the books don't really look 100% like books. They will. It'll get much better very soon. And if you notice, you probably didn't notice this, but at one point I was making sure that I actually have enough of the books for the dates in there. Now I'm going to go through and add in the pages. The pages are just using a thinner pen to draw in what looks like pages on the book. And I sort of like that. It's just a little bit of something which is mildly artistic, because my artistic abilities are vastly limited. I put in my key and I just use a 4-color key. I'm sure I'll do something a little bit more on each book as the week goes through. Add in my date. Now, something which I didn't think I would ever do again, I put in a to-do list. Yes, a to-do list. Can you believe it? I put in little fake pages on there so it looks a little bit better. And then I draw in a nice little artistic, well, as artistic as I get, a nice little thing of books at the bottom, so that way it completes my overall look for this theme. this was so much fun to do. And now I'm going to go back through and put in a few things, add in a touch of things here and a touch of things there, so that I can make sure that everything is in the place it should be, because there are some things that I did forget, like the notes, and I didn't exactly get them perfect, but it is all done, and I guess we are ready to go flip through it. So I'm pretty happy with the August bullet journal. It is my very own handmade kind of, doesn't have to look excessively special. It just has to work for me. And that's what's important. Make sure that your bullet journal works for you. And of course we have our quote, which I haven't done in a long time. The more that you read, the more things that you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you will go, by Dr. Seuss. Then we have our month, and I've actually put a spot for task, which I had not done before. Then our weeklies. And our weeklies are just as they normally did, 1 page per week, and it just really makes it a whole lot easier. Now you can go back through, I just originally put in the date, but I'm also going to put in what the month is, so that way if I'm flipping through this, I can find this really, really fast. Alright, so those stay the same. We'll do this again. And you'll notice that I added in the little book pages up at the top, so that way you can truly see that it's supposed to be a book. Now the interesting part is what's on the next page. Alright, let me explain this. The August habit trackers. You'll remember that on these pages you can see the outline of the month. So instead of writing down all the dates, I have just the outline of the month, and I will put in an X or a cross or whatever to correspond with if I did that task that day. That way I don't have to write in all the numbers and everything, and we'll see how this works. This might not work whatsoever, might work wonderfully, we have to see. My water tracker will stay the same with an X for every 2 glasses of water I drink. Then my mood tracker. Mood tracker is a bookcase. And then the bookcase has a key for yellow happy and then red for when I'm not happy. But I do like that. It does sort of give me a 3-dimensional kind of cartoony bookcase. Then my to-do list and my brain dump. The to-do list I will fill in as I have things which will need to be done for the month. And then my brain dump are just the ideas that I have put in or decided that I needed to do. I tried this, like I said, tried this last month and it worked pretty well. So this month we will see how we can do. So that is it. My August bullet journal is done. And I kept with the philosophy of, it's for me. I did this August bullet journal. I didn't even erase simply because I know it's going to be for me. I know that I'm actually going to use this, how I'm going to use it. I love bullet journaling, and I'm finding that I love bullet journaling more and more. The thing I have to figure out is how I can get it so I can turn it and be able to write better on it, because I write at a really severe slant. I'm realizing every single time I do one of these videos that I need to work on that whole slant thing. But if you like this, give it a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments how you do your bullet journaling. Do you bullet journal? Have you thought about it? And remember, I want to stress, make the bullet journal work for you. If you're not an artist, don't try to do something really, really artistic. You can throw in a few artistic things in there, but don't make it overly complicated for yourself. Make it as easy or as complicated as you want. It is your bullet journal. You should enjoy it, you should use it, and it shouldn't be like a chore or a hassle to do it. Well, let me know down in the comments what you think, and I hope I get to see you again next time. And don't forget to check out these videos which I picked out just for you.